So you've got an xTool F2 Ultra UV, you've got a blank K9 crystal, you're thinking to yourself, how do I take an image and put it inside of that? Well, this video today is me going through my exact workflow, showing you the full process. So if that sounds like something you would like to learn, stick around and we'll get straight to it. In terms of what you're going to need for this, obviously we're going to need the F2 Ultra UV. You're going to need the riser that comes with the F2 Ultra UV. In there at the moment is the inner engraving lens, so you're going to need that installed. Check out my other video of crystal engraving if you want to know how to do all of that. You're going to need a blank crystal of some type. This is 60 by 60 by 100 millimeters, but you can go for any size. You're going to need a lint-free cloth, and you are going to need some isopropyl alcohol or something to clean your crystal. That is pretty much it. And we are going to be measuring, so I'll be using some calipers to measure, but you can use whatever you've got lying around. So you're probably wondering, why do we need to measure it when this is a 60 by 60 by 100 millimeter crystal? Well, that's what it's advertised at. Well, everything made in life is made to tolerances, and sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller. And we want to be precise here. So we're going to measure the X, the Y, and the Z dimensions just to make sure we are exactly right. And I've got some paper and a pen because I've got a terrible memory and I can't remember these numbers. So first of all, the X dimension, you're going to see there 60.1 millimeters. So that's actually pretty good. So I'm going to write down X equals 60.1. Then we're going to do the Y, which is this way. And if you can see that, we're at 60.4 millimeters. So Y equals 60.4. And then finally, we are going to do the Z, and this one is going to be like this. And as you can see, ours is coming in at, well, you probably can't see, 99.55 millimeters. Normally with crystal engraving, you want to clean it at this point and be really careful putting it in. What I will say to you is, previously, you can engrave crystals standing up like that, but when the laser is scanning, it's going side to side and then it's having to step up each time and you get a less accurate image. So in this case, we are actually going to be engraving with our crystal lead down, and you get a better finished image if you do it like this, in my opinion. Now, this is a really big crystal and you're going to see it pushes this to its full limits. That being said, you can get 50 by 50 by 80 crystals and smaller ones. I'm just using what I've got lying around. In terms of cleaning it, we're using 99.9% alcohol, and we ultimately only care about cleaning the top surface. I've taken my riser stand out just to make it easier to show you what I'm about to do. But as you can see, we have a grid on this with lots of different number grids. And because our crystal's long and we're engraving it lying down, you'll see it basically takes up the whole plinth. And you're probably thinking, how are you actually going to engrave on that? Well, we can do it. And I'm going to show you how. What we want to do is centrally align this crystal so that there is one row of squares either side of it. And I'll give you a quick look at that right now. So if we look at the left side, you'll see there's a row of squares all the way down there and a row down that side. That means it's centrally in this direction, but we also want to make sure that it is sitting right on the edge of the line there and right on there, and it pretty much is. If your crystal is smaller, just make sure it is centrally positioned on this platform. That's all we care about here. Now we've got our crystal on the side, and you'll see this axis here is sat on the number 5, but we're trying to work out what this bottom corner is here where that arrow is. And as you can see, the number basically stops at 60. But if you imagine adding 5, 5, 5, 5 all the way to the end, this line basically is 85. So our coordinates will be 5, 85. You'll see in a minute what that means. So as I said earlier, make sure the top surface is nice and clean, because ultimately the laser is going through it. You don't want any fingerprint stopping that penetration. So we're starting off on xTool Studio, as you can see here, and we are going to hit the new project button in the top right, and it should connect to your machine. If that was the last machine, you'll hear a beep and it's going to tell you it detects the inner engraving lens. So I've already installed mine. Make sure you've got it installed because it's critical for this. And like I said, I've got a previous video that shows how to do that. So you're going to see it's probably going to take a picture. No. Okay, so now we're on the xTool workspace. In the top right there, you'll see it says process on flat material. Click click on that, and then you will get this box pop up right here. We want to select inner engraving. And what that's going to bring up now is a inner engraving settings box. And this is where the dimensions and the setup we went through a minute ago are going to be critical for us. So click on next, and then you're going to see different items in front of you. Now that we're here, we're going to keep it on the square selection because we have a rectangular object. So our X dimension was 60.1, but I've just double checked. xTool is now rounding down or rounding up the number. So it's keeping it clean, I guess. So we're going to keep it 60 there. So instead of using our Y dimension, which was 60 here, because we've got our block led down, we need to put our Z dimension in the Y dimension box. Don't worry, it's nice and simple. So put 100 in there. Then in the Z dimension box, we're going to put our Y dimension, which is 60. Keep the refractive index the same. I never change that, and that is good enough to use. So hit that next button, and now this is where our coordinates that we took a minute ago are going to come into play. So there are two options here, and I'm going to zoom in. You can either use the positioning piece, which is showing in the image below, or you can enter coordinates. We are going to be entering coordinates in this case with our large crystal. If you've got a smaller one, you need to put whatever coordinates you have measured. So like I said, the X, which was the step across, was 5, and I believe the Y, which is the coming down to the bottom corner, is going to be 85. So if you've got the same size crystal, put those dimensions in. If not, put your own ones. Now we're going to select import canvas, and what it should show us is pretty much a replication of what we see. And if you look, that is perfectly set up for what we want. Now we've got one more thing we're going to do. We are going to select the material in the top right here, and at the moment it's unknown. Select that, and then we are going to go with K9 inner engraved carved glass. Click apply. Then we're good. We're set up in xTool Studio. Now we have to prepare our image. Now for this video, I am going to be doing Dolly Parton inside of our crystal. Why not? And trust me when I say this, after you learn to do this, you're going to be making crystals 9 to 5, baby. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. So yeah, we've got our image. Let's go to the next step. Actually, what I want to say before we do that is you'll see my image doesn't have a background. I recommend removing the background, but the software we're going to use does have a built-in background remover, so you can rely on that if you want to. So at this point, I just want to stop for a second and explain to you. So when you've got an image, a 2D image like we've just seen, we need to convert it into a 2.5D image. It's not quite 3D, it's 2.5D. And the way you do that, and the type of image it's called, by the way, it's called a point cloud. It's literally a cloud of points which make a 3D image or a 2.5D image. Now, to do that, there are various softwares out there. xTool's got its own software, which works okay. And there are loads of other brands, okay? This one that I'm using, it is not affiliated. I haven't been asked to make this. I make it because it works really well for me and I really like the software. We're going to be using something called GenMake, okay? And I have used this countless times now and it's always been improving. And the person who makes it is updating it all the time. And I really, really highly recommend it. So we're going to run through that right now. So here is GenMake. It's 3d.genmake.co.uk. I will put the link in the description. And ultimately, it is in a trial mode at the moment, beta access mode. There is pricing. So it's not free, but you do get free credits every day at the moment, I believe. I will confirm that. But it's a very fairly priced software, in my opinion. And the results are outstanding, in my opinion. So I will be transparent. You'll see in the top right, I have been given a lot of credits to trial this. And I've been trialing a lot. That being said, like I said, I don't get paid anything, okay? I haven't been asked to make this. I'm doing it because I want to help you guys make the best products possible. So over on the top left here, we are going to hit generate. And once you're there, you're going to be presented with this screen right here. What you need to do first is drop your photo into here. You can either drag it from the folder or you can click the button itself. And once you import your image, you'll see it comes through like this. Now, this is one of the things I love about this software, okay? It's going to give you a prompt that you can open in a AI software to actually optimize the image for crystal engraving. You can copy it or you can click open in whichever one you use. I use ChatGPT, so I'm going to run through this now. So click open in ChatGPT and it will copy and paste a prompt in there. So all we have to do now is hit that plus button there and we have to add our photo. I've added my photo. I'm literally going to click the tick. ChatGPT is going to go away and it's now going to optimize this for inner engraving. And then we're going to take that image and put it back into GenMake. So it's finished it. And there you go. You can see the before and after. So one caveat here, okay, is it is AI. Sometimes I've used this feature and it has made the person look a little bit different. In this case though, I think it's done a great job and we will use this image, but you can just use a normal image and it probably will be absolutely fine. So we're going to hit download. We're going to hit this image. It's going to download it and we're going to put it back in. So I've put in the new image now and you'll see it has updated and it looks much crisper. So let's run through this now. How do we generate our actual image? So what we're going to do first is there is a background remover. Like I said, I've already removed the background, so I'm going to put keep background. But if you do have a background, you can select fast or pro background. We're going to click that blue box and it's going to take us to all the different shapes and sizes. So this literally has keychain sizes, cubes, portraits, plaques, speciality, lots of things. But in this case, we've got a 60 by 60 by 100 millimeter cube. So that is already selected. And you'll see on the right over here, it represents it. If you selected something different, that box on the right will change. Now we've done that, we're going to click that next design and text button and you can adjust your 3D effect. The standard one for me works really well and I tend to go with that. So I'm going to keep that. And then you can also add a mask. So what I personally like to do, I like to not have a mask and I like to size my image up as big as I can get it in the crystal. That being said, we have a limited engraving area with the F2 Ultra UV, so we want to make sure we are within that compounds. Now, what you can do, if I come over here, is you can hover over the image and scroll in with the middle mouse button and it will resize it. And then if you left click, you can also drag it. So there is a way of doing it, but if you click on that image button on the right, it will also give you manual sliders that you can do all the adjustment with, as you can see here. And there is also a 3D depth button as well. You can do whatever you want there. You can also center it, which I'm going to do. So I personally like to use the mouse button and drag it, and I'm going to go with about this here. So you can adjust the mask as well. I don't really have a mask on mine. I set it to 0 because I like to fill the crystal as big as I can get it. That's just my personal preference. So once you've got it how you want it, and we'll just go with this for now just because it looks good enough to me, then what we're going to do is click on the next one, which is quality. So another thing you can do is you can add text if you want. So you can do this in xTool Studio as well, but if you want to do it all in one place, you could put Dolly there like that. And then you can drag that around as well. Change the font sizes if you want. Like I said, I'm not going to do that here. I'm not going to add any text into mine at all. So we're going to hit that next button, which is the quality button. And now we can select the quality we want. We've got light, standard, premium. They take different amounts of time. I'm going to go with premium for this. And then the next thing we do is review and generate. There is a live depth editor. I will quickly show you it. So once you select it, it's going to do a load of checks. As you can see, scanning photo, mapping depth, generating points, rendering crystal, opening editor. So it's doing that. We'll see what it comes up with. So it has generated, and what it allows us to do, if we drag around, we can actually get a good idea of how this is going to look. And it looks great. And to be honest with you, I think the depth is good. But if you actually wanted to adjust any of the details, you have this whole selection area on the left side, which allows you to do it. I'm going to keep it as it is because I'm happy. So in the bottom right, it says generate final files. We're going to select that. And we are going to now go to the next screen and wait for this to generate. Now it will take you to a job list, and you can see I've done loads of these in the past. And what it's going to do is it's going to put you in a queue and it's going to take a bit of time. I find that these normally don't take very long at all. They take a few minutes. So we're going to wait. Once it's ready, we are then going to go to the next step. So I kid you not, that was probably about 40 seconds and it's done. So if I zoom in here, you've got a few options now. You can preview it, share it. There is something called recipe, and I will show you this just in case you're curious. If you click it, it will download something called a recipe card, and I'll show you what's in it if I open it up as this file here. And what it basically gives you is a full list of details and also instructions, positioning, literally everything. It even gives you its settings that it recommends. I will say I use different settings to what this is recommending. I'm not saying they don't work. I've just never tried them. I like my settings, but you can read through this whole card and see what you think. But it's quite a nice addition. I think you'll agree it's good. You know, you can never have too much information. But in this case, we are going to click that download button, and now it's going to ask us what we want to download it as. There is an xTool Studio specific box. We're going to click that, and then in the top right, you're going to see it will download a .ply file. You can also do this in other formats. So now we are back in xTool Studio, and we can now start this process and get this engraved. So what we're going to do is we're going to click that import button on the left hand side over here, and you'll see there is our file. Double click it and it should bring it in. Now this is a quirk of xTool Studio. It will bring it in and automatically scale it. So what I recommend doing, at the top here, there is a scale button. Click on that and then click reset initial params, that button there. And what it will do is then it will do it to the true size of what we have generated. Now, I want to show you something that is going to be a limitation and something that I'm going to need to tweak slightly. You'll see the image here is outside of the grid processing area. So if I try to actually engrave that, xTool will not allow me to do it. And I'll try and demonstrate that now. If you're doing these large crystals like this, one thing to bear in mind is you need to size this up so that it fits within those grid square areas. You could manually scale it down like I'm doing right here, and it probably would be okay in this case because it hasn't got much smaller, but that's not very good to do because all those points that were a specific space apart are now closer together, which means you've got a higher density image, which could look really, really washed out or really, really bad when you actually engrave it. So I'm going to quickly re-go through that whole process offline. I'm not going to show you it again with a slightly smaller image, and I'm going to put it back in. So I've just redone it. I've re-imported it, and as you can see now, that fits within the grid squares, which means that will be absolutely perfect to engrave. So now that we've got it in there, if you want to adjust the position, you can. If you want to add text in there, you can. And the way I would recommend adjusting the position is select your image. Then in the bottom left, you'll see there is front view, top view, left view, and right view. If you click on those, it allows you to then see from a good perspective where you are. So then you can just grab these arrows and move it up. This is a really good way of making sure you've got it where you want it. And I am just going to keep mine directly in the middle. But as you can see, this is the way to adjust it if you want to do that. Likewise, if you wanted to add text in, over here on the left, you can click that text button. Then you will get this box right here and just type in, and we'll go for Dolly in this case. Type in whatever you want. You can resize it here. I'm going to keep it all the same. Then what we can do is select the auto fit button and it will automatically put it centrally. But you can see it is literally blocking our image here. But what we're going to do, you know what? We will add text. So we're going to go side on. We're going to move that arrow there, and I'm going to position this so it kind of is at the bottom right in front of it, so you can read this and know who this is. Not that you need the name to know who it is. Then we're going to go to the front as well, which if I get the right one, and we can adjust the position there, and I think that is perfect. You know, I'm actually happy with that whole thing. So as you can see, we are now going to engrave that whole thing there. So the design itself is good. Now we need to set up the design. Now for the text, I am just going to use the default settings it recommends. So it's going with dotting, 50% power, 180 dot duration, 0.05 layer height, and 0.03 point spacing. That is pretty much it for that one. And then in terms of the actual image, I am now going to show you the settings I like to use. And I recommend using them with GenMake. You can try the ones they recommended, but this works really well for me. It's tried and tested. So I am going to go to my settings here, and you'll see I like to do 65% power, 200 dot duration, and 0.03 layer height. So we have our settings, we have our image and our text set up. We are now just ready to engrave into it. So all we have to do is hit that process button down there, and it is going to give us an estimated time. So there you go, 22 minutes, 26 seconds. It really isn't that long if you think about the size of the actual crystal. We're going to hit the start button. It's going to beep, which tells us it's ready to go. So let's do the engraving and let's see how it turns out. So here we have our final result. Hopefully you can see how well that has come out. Let's take a look at it from the side as well. And this is why you call it 2.5D, because as you can see, it's not quite 3D, but that is brilliant. The writing as well looks really good. I'll show you it from all angles. So there you have it. You've gone through the full steps. As I said, placement is everything, preparation is everything. I use GenMake because I really like using it. I'm not affiliated, as I said. I would highly recommend it, and they do give out free credits. So I will include a link down below, and it is not an affiliate link. So if you've watched this and you've got something out of the video today and it's helped you, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. If you want to support me a little bit more, you can become an L3D supporter. That's also down below. And if you are considering getting an F2 Ultra UV yourself to do these kind of tasks, then there is an affiliate link that will take you straight to the xTool website, which will help support this channel. But once again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon.